Have you ever felt like the big corporations are calling all the shots while we're just left in the dark? It's frustrating, right? But what if I told you there's more to this power struggle than meets the eye? It's time to explore this ongoing tug-of-war between two powerful forces, big money and the people. On one hand, we have massive corporations, wealthy individuals, and dark money packs who seem to wield enormous influence over our lives. On the other hand, we have the collective power of ordinary citizens who are fighting to be heard. In this struggle, big money seems to have the upper hand. With their vast resources and networks, they're able to shape public policy and sway public opinion to their advantage. But does that mean the people are helpless? Absolutely not. As we delve deeper into this struggle, we'll examine how both sides are fighting to control the narrative and shape the world around us. It's a battle that affects us all, and it's time to take a closer look. When it comes to politics, the influence of big money is undeniable. Major corporations and wealthy donors funnel massive amounts of cash into political campaigns, knowing that their investments will pay off in the form of favorable policies and legislation. Not only do they fund campaigns, they fund the lobbyists. Dark money packs funnel huge amounts of money to help campaigns of all sorts, sometimes funding both sides in the same race. We have no idea whose money is going in, or how much money is going into these dark money packs. Although it's illegal, it is thought illegal foreign money may be funding these packs too. The system is set up with the intention of secrecy. They even have the right wing of the Supreme Court's blessings. With massive piles of money from all of these sources, it's a system that's been designed to be bulletproof. It's been in place for decades, and it's one that often leaves the people feeling powerless and ignored. Take for example the pharmaceutical industry, the most influential industry in Washington politics. They spend billions of dollars on lobbying and campaign donations each year, shaping laws and regulations that benefit their bottom line rather than the health and well-being of the general public. Just look at the fact we have the highest drug prices in the world. The system is set up that even Congress has very little power to influence the drug companies. It's a stark reminder of how big money can warp the system to their advantage. But it's not just the pharmaceutical industry. From finance to energy, and from tech to agriculture, major corporations and dark money packs are using their wealth and influence to bend politics to their will, and in the process, they're leaving the people to foot the bill. Just wait for January 20th. It looks like Trump might do Trump tax cut number 2, increasing the deficit by trillions more, leaving the benefits to Trump and his very wealthy friends while leaving the huge additional costs for the tax cuts on the backs of American citizens to bear. Big money has never liked our safety net system. They fought FDR tooth and nail against the establishment of Social Security. Since then, they have never stopped the fight against one of the most successful and important programs America ever created. The incoming Trump administration might be the first time in its 90-year history that big money may get a big win. There's a lot of talk about cutting benefits as the program is unsustainable. The reality is that Congress funds it differently, and its coffers have been raided to create the appearance of problems many times over the decades. This time, big money will get a massive tax cut, the deficit will explode further, and by design, not economic reality, they will use the excuse that we can't afford to fund Social Security. We will hear, geez, looks like there is no choice but to cut Social Security. They win. Now the Koch brothers, for instance, have poured hundreds of millions of dollars into politics, creating PACs and foundations for the explicit purpose of cutting public assistance programs, pushing for deregulation and tax cuts that benefit their vast business empire. Meanwhile, the average citizen is left to deal with the consequences of environmental degradation and income inequality and the reduction of benefits. And then there's the issue of political donations. Wealthy individuals and corporations are able to donate millions of dollars to political campaigns, giving them disproportionate influence over policy decisions. It's a system that's rife with corruption and cronyism, and it's one that desperately needs reform. Take, for example, Elon Musk. He poured $250 million into Trump's campaign for president, fully 25% of all of the money the campaign received. Meanwhile, since the election, his net worth has climbed $200 billion. Yes, you heard that right, putting his net worth at about $500 billion. What a return on his investment. 10 times in just a few short weeks. As if that isn't enough payback for his gifts to Trump, he currently appears to be acting as the man in charge with the president-elect answering to him. WTF? Do you know how many votes Elon Musk got? I'll give you a minute to remember. Don't know? Elon Musk got 0 votes. That's right, he wasn't on any ballot. He has been elected to nothing. We have never seen anything like this in our 248-year history. Talk about money and influence. We have the world's richest man giving a mere couple of $100 million, and he gains a couple of $100 billion. He now has more influence in our politics than anyone, including Trump. We are seeing our biggest fears about money and influence come to life in real time, with a man who spreads conspiracy theories, allows a cesspool of lies and misinformation to flood his social media platform X, and we are told by the right there's nothing to see here. Right. But big money's influence doesn't stop at politics. They're also masters of shaping public opinion through advertising, propaganda, and manipulation of the media. From convincing us to buy their products to convincing us to support their agendas, big money knows how to tap into our emotions and manipulate our perceptions. However, the people are fighting back. Grassroots movements and activist groups are using social media, protests, and boycotts to raise awareness about important issues and push back against big money's influence. From Black Lives Matter to Me Too, and from Extinction Rebellion to Occupy Wall Street, the people are refusing to be silenced. Take, for example, the battle to raise the minimum wage. For years, activists and workers' rights groups have been fighting to increase the minimum wage, knowing that it would have a profound impact on poverty and inequality. And slowly but surely, their efforts are paying off as cities and states across the country begin to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Or consider the struggle to protect the environment. From local activism to global movements, the people are demanding action on climate change, deforestation, and pollution. And in response, governments and corporations are being forced to take notice, implementing policies and practices that prioritize sustainability and the health of the planet. One pivotal moment that highlights the people's power is the Arab Spring. In 2010, mass protests erupted across the Middle East and North Africa, as ordinary citizens demanded democracy, freedom, and an end to corruption. And although the outcomes were mixed, the Arab Spring showed that even in the face of overwhelming oppression, the people can rise up and challenge the status quo. In Chile, students and workers took to the streets in 2019, demanding economic reform, better education, and an end to inequality. And after weeks of protest, the Chilean government was forced to listen, implementing a range of reforms that addressed many of the protesters' demands. These examples show that when the people come together, they can accomplish remarkable things. They can challenge the power of big money and create real change. So what can we take away from this power struggle? The first and most important takeaway is that awareness is key. We need to understand how big money operates, how they use their influence, and how they shape our world. Once we're aware, we can start to take action, using our collective power to push back against their influence and create a more just and equitable society. As we move forward, it's time to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to live in? Do we want to be controlled by big money, or do we want to take back control and create a world that benefits everyone? The choice is ours. We need a new paradigm. The setup we have now is incapable of coping with these enormous, dangerous political earthquakes happening all over the world, but most importantly, here in America. We at the Thinking Clearly channel want to be part of the discussions. There is much to be said, discussed, and planned. It's not something that the DNC can or should be responsible for. They are having enough problems keeping up with and challenging the GOP. We will have much more to say as we go forward. Make sure you subscribe to be part of our growing community and movement. We have ideas, but we want to hear from you. Look for possible live talks or Zoom call broadcasts in the near future. Thanks for watching. Be sure to share your thoughts and comments on this video. Please share them in the comments section below. Be sure to watch our video, where we explore what happened behind the scenes in the Harris 2024 campaign. Hear directly from the people who ran the Harris-Walz campaign themselves. Click here on the video you see on the screen.